And good morning to your listeners and the people of Liberia.
Okay.
Good morning, Summer. Good morning, everybody in Radio Land.
Okay.
We're happy to be here.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, gentlemen, we basically invited you to look at some of the things that Arcelor Mittal is doing for our people, looking at the issue of the amended version of your agreement you have with the people of Liberia, and also to hear from you regarding some of the myths, we put it that way, some of the things that have been said about Arcelor Mittal, especially where you operate. But first, we'll let to inquire. Let me inquire first from Mr. Dario. I hope I got it right.
Yes.
Uh, what is it like now? The company I know entered this new agreement with the government, and there have been a lot of concerns from our people as to the way you operate, of not living up to some of the things that you promised. What is it like now in the company?
Thank you. At the moment, Arcelor Mittal Liberia is at a very critical point in its operations in Liberia. We've gone nearly 15 years now. We've remained committed to Liberia. We are in transition to the phase two of our expansion project, which is a unique moment and a unique opportunity for the company and for Liberia. When you look back at the history of ArcelorMittal Liberia, what it tells is that this is a company that has remained committed to Liberia, to the people of Liberia through many difficult years, through Ebola, through COVID-19, through the global economic meltdown. This is a company that has remained truly committed. We are proud to be one of the leading private sector employers in Liberia. We are proud to be a major contributor to the government's revenue and the national budget. So our story as a company is wrapped in the impact that we've made uh, in Liberia and within the communities that we operate. Yes, of course, we are at this critical juncture as we move forward into the next phase of our operations, and it's one of the most popular news items around Liberia for at least the past 1 month now, and we are really excited to be here on ELBC to talk about the prospects of this new amended mineral development agreement.
Okay, so since when your institution been operating in Liberia?
So, beginning 2006, when the first MDA was signed,
Under the previous administration?
yeah, the administration of former
Former
President
President Ellen
Ellen
Johnson.
Johnson Sirleaf. Then in 2011, we officially began production and shipment of iron ore outside of Liberia. That was an important and historic moment for Liberia, a country that had come from years of civil war and was reawakening its iron ore mining industry. A strong signal to the rest of the world that Liberia is an attractive place, an attractive environment to do business. ArcelorMittal's investment opened the door for many other companies. So we've come a long way as a partner to Liberia.
So since then, how many counties, for the record, you've been operating in?
So our operations are primarily based in Nimba, Bunk, and Grand Bassa counties, with our mining operations situated in Nimba, the Yekepa area to be specific. So the port where we ship from is in Grand Bassa in Buchanan, and then of course Bunk County. Our rail line goes through Bunk County.
Okay, now let's go into the specifics. Hearing from Mr. Michael Willer. Mr. Willer is the head of government and community relations. He's one person I'm sure who basically should be trying to document the sort of uh, the impacts of the company in the communities and all of that. So let's hear from you, Mr. Wule. What's the economic and the social impact, if one to put it that way, of ArcelorMittal's operations in our country?
Uh, Thank you so much. I think my colleague Winston mentioned that when we started shipping in 2011, that heralded that Liberia was now back on the, the iron ore mining map, you know, of the world.
Mm.
That also served as a precursor to many other investments coming to the country. And if a large company like ArcelorMittal had taken the courage to be in our country, to enter Liberia, and many other companies
Go for the suit.
thought that, yeah, but maybe there's something good happening in Liberia. So that was the first thing, and that that benefit continues to date. So this is why with this proposed amendment, after it is ratified, it will further reinforce that Liberia is, stronger now in terms of business opportunities, and many other similar companies should really consider, taking advantage of the immense investment opportunities in our country.
Okay. No.
Prior to that, our contribution to the government revenue is there. It's very huge. We contribute to at least 15% of our gross GDP, which is very much huge in terms of output. Over the past 15 years, we've contributed over nearly $300 million in revenue,
Okay.
taxes and fees and so forth. This amount is expected to increase with this new passage, with this new amendment, going as high as $75 million annually. So you can do the math. 75 times the number of years we will be operating. In terms of giving back to the country for business, we've done over $100 million direct purchases for businesses in Liberia, and this has also impacted local businesses in the communities. We've paid over $47 million directly for county social development for Nima, Bong, and Grand Bassa counties. Even above that, we've gone went above to contribute a minimum of $2 million in various activities. Just last week, you heard that we announced our gold sponsorship for the Liberia County Sport Meet. And even in addition to that, we've been supporting our counties. I think we can proudly say that we've contributed to each of those counties winning the National County Sport Meet. I'm talking about Bong, Grand Bassa, and Nima County. But importantly, at the community level, we've
because this is the
exactly that's
the
the part I'm
fine.
coming to.
Thank you.
Yeah, at the community level, the first direct investment in community development that we signed up to was the County Social Development Fund,
Okay.
which provides $3 million and say, well, communities, you decide what you want to do with your money. Of course, working with the government to ensure that your development priorities are met. So we're happy to report that that money, is being utilized in accordance with the requirements of the counties. So, and over and above that, we've also gone step out of our statutory obligations and committed $40 million to pave the road from Ganta to Yekepa. Why did we do this? Because we believe that that is a good way of showing sustainability and even something transformational. We're not concerned about what happened in the past with other mining companies. We are focused on what we can bring to our communities.
I can do things differently.
Yes, and you can imagine the immense benefits that are already coming from trade and travel. That's two corridors from you got Ivory Coast on one side and Guinea on the other side. So you can imagine the increase in trade that is going to happen with that. And we've done various projects, and I can take the whole day in various communities and to talk about that. Hand pumps here and there, or support schools out. And one other important aspect that we've added to our work is getting our employees to volunteer to do projects with communities. So we had some challenges, or because of COVID, Ebola, and so forth. Those are conditions. But we are on record as being the largest private sector contributor to government effort to respond to Ebola and COVID-19. I think you've seen us in various newspaper clips making donations here and there and so forth. Arcelor Mittal funded the first ever ETU, Ebola treatment unit in Liberia.
Okay.
That was which was constructed in Ghana at the time, and many other things. Those have cost us millions of dollars. Even during Ebola, we led the private sector effort globally to mobilize resources for Liberia in the response against Ebola. Recently, there's been some concerns from our stakeholders about access to the Country Social Development Fund.
Surely.
And I must give the government credit for taking the bold step of requesting the company to retain a portion of that money and pay it directly to what we call the affected communities. Those are communities that are in the immediate vicinity of our operations.
Yeah.
And so that has started just last week. We released the first batch of funds for Nima County projects. And we are also assessing progress being made in Bond County and Grand Bassa in terms of how the projects were. Those funds they are governed by a set of management guidelines, which are very transparent, very tough, and so forth. And we're happy to announce that this new amendment, and that this amendment will increase, proposes to increase the amount of contribution we are providing to the communities.
Okay.
And most of that money is going to be going to the portion that the company will withhold. So in addition to county-wide development, you will also continue to see transformation development in the local communities. Just last week, 2 weeks ago, we announced a couple of projects which were actually holding back because of COVID and movement restrictions and so forth. So we announced nearly $400,000 worth of projects, which includes lighting up the township of Yekepa, street lights, renovating one of the schools in Zulubi. Zulubi is a very big town near the mountain, near Mount Toka there. The annex to that school was built by our volunteers using their hands. Volunteers were all over Arcelor Mittal operations in the world. They went and then and built the annex. So now we are renovating the whole school. We're also throwing in some money to renovate the Winifred Halley Hospital. You know we are committed. So I keep calling it Winifred Halley, G.W. Halley. The government hospital in San Nicolas.
Okay.
We are previously committed to supporting government relocation of that hospital. So that money is set aside. But ahead of the relocation, we also want to see that the current facility, which is the hospital building, the roof and everything is repaired, and the building is given a facelift. So that is happening. And we want to launch something exciting.
Okay.
And I can go on and on. Do you want me to continue?
Yeah, no, you will continue in as the discussion moves further. But with all of what you just listed, let me hear from Winston. A lot, in fact, Arcelor Mittal is doing to impact the lifestyle of people. Yet there's still concern, especially amongst the local people, speaking through their representatives, their honorables, that you are not, touching or impacting their lives directly. So, do you follow up on whatever the contribution you make to the county, to the affected communities through the national legislature, through the government? Do you follow up as to whether the impact is being felt by the people themselves? Do you follow up?
We are a company that values the concerns that come from our communities. As we refer to them, they are our landlords. So we listen to the feedback that they give us on what we do and what our contributions are to the government. And as always, there is argument for us to do more, and we welcome these interactions with our communities. Yes, indeed, we do follow up on our contributions, and we make a lot of efforts to ensure that it impacts the communities that are closest to us, like Marcus said. So about a year ago, Arcelor Mittal, one of the things that they were able to get done is to work closely with the government to ensure that while we are paying this amount annually as county social development fund, but there are still concerns from our communities that much more needs to be done. So we as a company proposed to the government that 20% of what we provide to the counties should be withheld, and we will monitor, we will supervise, and then the funding would go directly toward projects that these communities will recommend. But there's a process, there's a mechanism in place to ensure that it is transparent, and that we as a company on our part ensure that those projects are implemented. So yes, indeed, we do follow up, and we do listen to feedback about our contributions to the counties.
What's about the issue of providing, job opportunities for the locals? Because that could be, some of the, I spoke with one of the lawmakers and said, you instead of you giving jobs to people in counties that you're operating, rather you go out of the county and bring people in to give them local jobs. How do you respond to that?
Okay, so the first thing, when it comes to jobs, in terms of how many people we employ or how many job opportunities we create, I'm not sure there's any company at the moment in Liberia that provides jobs for at least 3,000 Muslim Liberians.
Okay.
That's the first thing. So,
of the local people
uh,
in those areas that you operate.
yes, of course, and Marcus would share the numbers with you so that you have an understanding what percentage of our employees come from the three counties where we operate. But as you know, we are an equal opportunity employer, so we are not allowed to discriminate on the basis of your tribe or which county you come from. But yes, indeed, there are programs in place to ensure that residents of communities, there are programs in place to ensure that residents of communities where we operate, have some sort of employment or job opportunities with the company.
Okay. Yes, you
Yeah.
wish to give us a number.
Yeah, and before I come to the numbers, so with a mining company as large as Arcelor Mittal carries many expectations,
Okay.
and expectation management is our job.
So you're not managing the expectations
Well,
of the people.
Let me say this way, so maybe I'll put things in perspective. Everybody has expectations
Okay.
about what they feel their benefits from a particular activity should be. And Arcelor Mittal is the only company that has one of the largest team of people who wake up in the morning to just talk about stakeholders expectation management. My team is about 25 persons. Their job is to wake up in the morning. How can we support our community? What are the issues and so forth?
Okay.
And I just go back. So, when this new agreement was announced, you saw an increase in calls for to do things better. One of the things that undercut most of the concerns was that we want the company to do better. That is very important.
Than what it is doing now.
Yeah. So, and doing better is I'm saying if we want the company to do better, it's a positive way of engagement. So we ask our stakeholders, what are the things that they want us to do better on? They say employment. They talk about community development. They talk about the township, and many other things. So, but something we felt was not actually getting to our people was the amount of information that people at different levels were getting. So let me go to the numbers. We talk about local employment. Clearly, when we have an increase in operations, what we call the project phase, which is about to happen, there's an increase in local employment,
Okay.
mainly for unskilled and semi-skilled work. and so that is going to happen. But it can't happen now because the agreement has not been ratified yet.
Okay.
So, but on average, we check our numbers. We did a recent count of employees according to countries of origin. About 57% of all the people we employ came from the 3 countries where we operate. If there are better numbers than in other companies, we would like to know them. But we're not resting on our laurels. Because the man on the street in Zolowi or Bapa or Bikena is not concerned about how much he pays to government.
Not at all.
He's concerned about what he can get directly from you.
Surely.
So this is where we even to work with the county authorities to ensure that we can address those specific concerns, because sometimes there are available jobs that people may not have the qualification and skills, to compete for. How can we support that? So we have a list of issues that we've been working with, and we're now reaching out to our stakeholders, report it back to them and say, this is what we're going to be doing. A couple of meetings are already planned. We are in the communities telling them, oh, you had this expectation about this number. We're going to do this. And this is what you wanted. No, we can't do it this way. How can we make sure that we work together on this other part? Direct community development, we are not approaching it from the standpoint that, look, we pay our dues to the government. We've given you $47 million. You should be able to manage it. No. We're working with the government and our communities to see, in addition to what we've provided, what are the other things that we can do together based upon partnership. So we have very good examples of partnership all over. Our community will come and say, okay, we have $3 million, or $200,000 to do this project, but we need X, Y, Z. For example, there's the clinic in Bapa, where the Bapa is also near the foot of the mountain, where they never had any health facility. We provided $50,000 to cover the cost of building the clinic, providing all the materials, and they will go and then pay the labor costs.
Okay.
So that's a good partnership.
Sure.
Now they've come back and said, oh no, but we need additional support. We say, okay, fine. Let's go into this and see how much additional support we can provide. Now that approach helps community to not be solely dependent on external support, but to be able to mobilize their own resources and have that backed up by what we can provide. Let's talk about employment. I think this is a very important issue.
Yeah, surely.
97% of our employees are Liberians.
97.
97, yeah. 97%. And in senior management, Arcelor Mittal defined as those who report to the CEO who had departments. There were 9 people, including the CEO himself, and 6 of these people are Liberians. So I think we need to put in perspective, and
because that has been a major concern.
Exactly. And so if you look at the core of the management team, which is the managers, the supervisors, and so forth, one of you, 88% of those people are Liberians, born and bred. For unskilled job, 100% are Liberians. But Omar Hawa is concerned about, of that number, how much of those people are from a town near the track and so forth. Okay, and this is where we are doing our best to tell Mahawa that yes, these people are coming from your town, but whenever opportunities are available, your son should be able to know that these opportunities are available. You should be able to apply for that. Clearly, there's some work to do in that area, and we need to do better, and we will.
Okay.
And there's no gainsaying about that. But I think one of the things that we appreciate in our engagement with everybody, I didn't talk about AML Cup, right? I'll talk about that later on, is that people value our contribution to their communities. Okay? They believe there are areas that we should improve on. Our national stakeholders, our lawmakers also have those concerns, but they've done it in a very positive and constructive way. And we are very much open 100% to sit with them and try and address those, because we're here for the long haul, and we owe it to ourselves. So every year to renew our social license to operate, and the people who give us the license are our communities. So we have to do better, and we will do better.
Okay.
Over and above the great things that we've already done.
Okay, you're listening to the Super Money Show, rated on the OBC 99.9 and other focuses across Liberia. Our studio guests are from the Arcelor Mittal, and of course we have in studio Marcus Wule. Marcus Wule is the head of government and community relations. And then also have in studio Mr. Winston Dayu, he's the communication manager. Now, gentlemen, we know the new agreement that you entered with the government has not been has not going to full swing yet. But do you care to inform us, ahead of whatever the agreement is and whatever or those things that you have in the agreement inserted to improve, to better improve the lives of our people? What are some of the new opportunities? What are some of the new possibilities, if at all, that amended that amendment is made and the agreement comes to full swing? What are some of the new things that we intend to see on the part of Arcelor Mittal in bettering the lives of our people and the country as a whole?
So there are many opportunities at stake once this agreement is in force, is ratified, and is in full swing. First, what this means is that we as a company would be investing in the construction of a concentrator. So for better
What's the concentrator?
for better understanding, the concentrator is a factory.
Okay.
Is what people would say back in the days was a plant, was a mining plant, where the iron ore that we mine right now is DSO, direct shipment ore. So we take it from the ground and we ship.
Okay.
And what we ship has to meet market requirements. It has to meet the grade that the market demands.
Okay.
Whatever we take out of demands that does not reach that grade, we do not ship. So the concentrator of this factory, this plant, is going to help enrich whatever we get from the mountain.
Okay, we'll have a technical problem. Let's try to come back to you. Going off. Yeah. Well, some come on. That's the literacy.
All people you tell your audience do.
Well, they want LEC. LEC got off, right?
Yeah. But it was some come on. Check your video. Hello? Yeah? I'm on the air now. Let me call you back. Okay, what's it, sir? Oh, principal. Okay, don't worry. I'll open it last week. You wanna? Okay. We sincerely apologize. That was a disruption and beyond our control. Obviously. Yeah. Okay, our studio guests are still here. Mr. Marcus Wule is the head of government and community relations. Arcelor Mittal and Mr. Winston Dayu is the communication manager. Yes, you were in speech when going on.
Yeah, so I was talking about the benefits of the proposed new amendment to our MDA. As I said, this would allow us to move forward with the plan to construct a concentrator, which is a plant and a factory, to help enrich the iron ore that we currently mine and shape. So what this means, the construction of this plant would be creating hundreds of new jobs for Liberians. Liberians are going to be the ones to run the plant and to operate the facility. We agree that at the moment the skills that we require to do this are not available. So we are going to launch pretty soon a community recruitment process with the minimal benchmark being for high school graduates. If you're overqualified, no problem. You can go through this training, and then there's an opportunity for you to get employed to work with us, particularly at this facility. So that's one benefit that's going to come as a result of the amended MDA getting into effect. We are also going to see an increase in our contribution to government revenue, significant increase of up to $75 million dollars per annum. We also going to see our contributions to the county's social development fund increase to up to $3.5 million. There are going to be at least 1,000 new jobs created
Okay.
as a result of this amendment going into effect. So there are many opportunities in the show. Marcus can chip in.
Yeah, Michael. So get open the line quickly.
Yeah, so I just want to, there's a point that I wanted to add, and it's about the real import, because I think there have been some concerns, wrongly actually, that real import,
The lines are already blinking.
real import access will not be available to everybody. The agreement does not require that. The agreement requires access to the real import, of course, approved by the government of Liberia, and where there are additional capacity that operators may require, they will be required to invest in those in expanding and providing that additional capacity.
Okay.
So, but we are excited about this new agreement, and which is an amendment to the existing one. I mean, the 2,000 plus construction jobs that Winston talked about, most of them are going to be in Limba and Grand Bassa counties. Because that's where most of the construction will be.
Okay.
And we're taking an approach where we want to make that they have to be localized. Okay, there's something good about local content development in the agreement also, which will make everybody happy.
Okay.
In terms of how do we support local businesses, but the I think we require, as the government has always done, the involvement of all stakeholders in really selling this very good investment. And there have been challenges, okay, in some aspects of our interaction with stakeholders, especially with respect to community development. And we've been passing the message on to our communities that it's important that we put things in perspective. Okay, when you say someone should do more after they've giving over $47 million for direct investment, you should be asking questions about what happened to that money. It's very important. Instead of trying as much as possible to blame the company for that, so the people who manage the funds should also be questioned what happened to all this contribution that the company have made.
And not the company directly.
Well, yeah. Well, you should ask us too, but it's important that if we are required to make payments for X, Y, Z, like we're a very open society, people should ask those questions directly. And I know people have said, "Oh, we need to know what you've done over the 15 years," and so we made it easier. We wrote a self-assessment of our compliance to our Mineral Development Agreement, which no company in Liberia has ever done. Every quarter, we are required to provide a compliance report to the government of Liberia. We've met all those commitments. The National Bureau of Concession has gone and has to verify and inspect to confirm everything that we're written in our report, which we submitted to them over a month ago.
Okay.
So if there's no good indication of how transparent and open we are, to the way we do our business in Liberia, I will need a better example. Okay, so we as a company we require a good business environment. Which we are not in politics. We are here to do business. So we try as much as possible to work with our communities, and we regret that some interventions may try to undermine our relationship with our communities, and we'd like to advise all our stakeholders that we should work together to support this very important investment in our country.
Do you think your operations being fully resourced by some individuals?
I wouldn't want to go into the politics at the national level or at the local level, but we are aware that we are in a political environment. Our society is a political society, so what we do not do would be scrutinized. It would be described in different forms in Madden. There are other stakeholders that may have different interests. We are aware that these dynamics exist. So, that's what I can say.
Okay, let's take a few calls quickly. I'm sure for 7 minutes we'll have to do our business segment. 0778 641 That's the number to call. The line been blinking nonsense. Good morning. Yes, sir.
Giving jobs that belong to the Nigerian people and giving it to other foreign nationals. And the people also spoke about the educational system in Nima County through Arcelor Mittal Development. And they said the educational system is very, very poor, including the healthcare system and safe drinking water. How do they reconcile with this?
Many thanks. Let me take this other call on the line. Good morning. Good morning. 0778 That's the number to call. Again, 0778 That's the number to call. We have two individuals, representatives from Arcelor Mittal on the program. Put your calls quickly because I'm sure many of you may have concerns about Arcelor Mittal operation. Good morning. Yes, sir.
And I joined this morning for unification with the Roma Kibi County. Also, let me appreciate the effort of those representatives from Arcelor Mittal. Though they are addressing the effort of government that providing job opportunities for Liberians, but like the previous caller said, I think they should be able to prioritize the interests of the Liberian people. You cannot have jobs that are supposed to be given to Liberians that Liberians are entitled to, then you have all of those jobs. And another area is that they should also take into consideration the welfare of those people that are working in the cocoa plantation or the coconut area. So I think they should be able to address those situations this morning. Thank you.
Many thanks. I'll take another call on the line quickly. 0778 That's the number to call. Again, 0778 Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, go right ahead. Quickly.
This is Augustine Jubo and I do call you from Grand Bassa County. Much commend these guys in studio, they are doing well. But let me make something clear. Our family is in our country is derived from our leaders because we don't come and see the work of the people. Let me give you an example. Look at the hospital. Local hospital. None of them want to be fair hospital in Liberia. Arcelor Mittal, all of the money they bring in this country. We have hospital is not a good referral hospital. After the integrate, we send them Nigeria. Why would we believe this people in the camp of reaction? In the Texas even found ourselves, the type of development across the world. Let me be able to answer why they are breaking the houses down in a sector of becoming unit. The professional. The child wants to end the game. Wow, it's a reason. Wonder how in school. And at school they are using it as an office space. Why they have to do such a thing in our country? Wow. Let me come and tell because they are all like they are working for the company. So they were already in the interest of the company. We have
Okay. Many thanks. Let's take another call on the line. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, good morning. Yes, go ahead quickly.
I drink for Kansas City, Lima County. I got two questions for the two yesterday. The first one has to do with the minimal, the minimal development agreement they signed with the government of the Bureau, and that of the government, the citizen are crying for now, saying that most of the government are given the formula. And we are very hearing for millions of people that most of the time in Lima County they are dead or some of them because of this development, agreement. And what happened at the point when it comes to the issue of justice and always on top of that, the state got 15 years, look at that to the 5 years. What happened at the quality direction with the country, and that is government allowed to now they're asking for another year.
Okay, we'll take two more calls quickly. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, good morning. Yes, good morning. Yeah, go right ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks to the government too. My question is, I made all of the good things that they are performing for the Liberian people. And why is it that they are more involving bringing people building, the constructing these buildings that are having a group? I mean, good structures that other people will live in instead of bringing people that we will take away anytime soon.
Okay, medicine. Let me take this caller on the line. Good morning. This last caller. Good morning.
Good morning, Sabo. How you doing?
I'm okay.
Okay, good morning to you, students. I follow all of what they have been saying in terms of what the community is
What's
doing.
your name? What's your name, please?
This is Cyrus W2 with the circle according from Harper.
Okay, go right ahead quickly.
Well, sometimes one day, us want to verify in terms of what they've been doing since the election of the governor over there. They find it, they find it difficult. I found it difficult in making to return what used to be to the pre-war status. There was been no attempt, and in terms of some of the structures that people the war, that they need to do more of that. Thank you.
Many thanks. Let me take this last one. This last caller. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, good morning.
Yeah. Okay, my name is N. Segiwa Yedua. I'm calling from Zowita, home county.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, let me try to get thanks to the studio guests. What I want to say here is that, when it comes to the job opportunities for us in Bong County, there's no HR representation, and so with regards to the information that we talked about the job, us to get informed about it. And sometimes before you get the information, it's over. And when you get to Basa, people will tell you that, we have to, our focus here is the city of Basa. When you go to Nimba, the city of Nimba. And we who are from in one country and just finding it difficult, even to get the job, information. And so I want to ask the city guests, please let them, the manager of Arcelor Mittal should think in this direction to help us by having HR representation right here in Green Quarry, and so that when those information that come out or are coming out, we who are born in both countries will get to know sooner.
Okay. Many thanks, gentlemen. Mr. Wule, Mr. Daniel, please respond quickly in a few minutes.
Okay. So, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
So, thank you so much. I'm happy that most of the calls that we received focus on what we already talked about when it comes to employment and so from one of you. But let me start with the caller from Zointa. Yes, we hear you. As you know, when we restart the actual operations, yes, the Green Inquiry office will be reopened. So all of those concerns about information and access to job opportunity information will be available. We do have a community relations team in Bonn, and we'll definitely reach out to Zointa where we have what we call a local consultative forum. We call them our eyes in the community, so we'll be able to address that one. It's very important. Good point. So people talk about returning Yekepa to Lamco status. So I think we need to focus. We agree with them, okay, that the mining and the working environment have to be in a condition that is conducive, okay, to everybody and so forth. There have been concerns about the township making it look that the way it was there when the white people were there and so forth. But we know that when the white people were there, there was no quota rule. Okay? And we
put
putting quota there. So every era has its own demands and expectations. The concentrator, the plants that we're building over there, it's not a washing plant. It has advanced technology. It will put Liberia on the map. It will be the first ever facility that we'll have, the first modern one we'll have in the entire region and so forth. So it's very much important that we look at perspective. And of course, we're doing things. In December before Christmas. We will light up Yokepa. God be our guide. When it comes to employment, I'm a bit concerned when people say that they're giving jobs to foreigners. It's a common theme. It's easy to say it, but it's difficult to prove. So we just reported to you that 97% of our employees are Liberians, and maybe we might be uh,
Exaggerating.
quote unquote lying on behalf of the company. But go to the National Bureau of Concessions. They are the government arm responsible to verify this. We've wrote this in reports. It's public. They are checking. So I will urge you to reach out to the National Bureau of Concession and see if they can verify what we said. Now, we do have expat employees. Of course, there have to be expat employees. But it is about what is the proportion of expat employees compared to Liberian employees. So you see the number is very small. Even we are far below the quota that we've agreed with the government in terms of getting expats to the country. Basa hospitals, Buchanan Hospital and so forth. The hospital management is a phased process, and we've already made commitments to get the hospital to the minimum of a county level hospital. And those who in the health sector will tell you actually what that means. When Lamco was here, when referral hospital, the number of hospital facilities in the 60s, the 70s, were not the same now. Liberia is far advanced in terms of that and so forth. The important thing is that do our employees and our community have access to good medical care? Yes. When there are critical cases, do we have the capacity to respond to them? Yes. Have we established contacts with JFK and other hospitals to be able to provide those services? Yes. We don't expect the mining company to be a standalone country by itself. Everything. When you require heart surgery, then it happens in the hospital. No. I mean, obviously, these things have to be done within the context of the country.
Yeah.
But we understand it's a stakeholder concern, and we're actually addressing that.
You have a minute.
Okay, let me defer to my colleague Winston, because I want to go through it. We have almost the same response, so I'll defer to him.
Okay.
Just to pick up on some of the concerns from callers, Robert Oka from I think Unification Town, he talked about the quality of education that Arcelor Mittal provides. That is poor. This is inaccurate. This is untrue. Our school system, the performance of our school system is one of the top you can find anywhere in Liberia. Evidence that their performance in WAEC, we have students coming first place in different subjects every year. Our overall performance as a school in the national exam is par excellent. Also about education, we support education tremendously at the county level. To the Grand Bassa University, the Nimba County University. These institutions are supported by Arcelor Mittal Liberia. We have a top-notch vocational education facility in Yekepa. 45 of our students graduated in April of this year. They've been employed. So education is definitely a priority for us at Arcelor Mittal Liberia. We continue to improve welfare of our workers through the different programs that we offer, the different services, healthcare, career training and development. Sometime this year, we're able to send some of our workers for advanced training at our facilities around the world. So when it comes to education, training and development, it's one of the areas that Arcelor Mittal really continues to invest. This is because we believe the quality of our employees, the output of our employees is directly linked to the success of the businesses. So,
okay, many thanks, Mr. Winston Dye. Mr. Dye is the communication manager Arcelor Mittal. You also heard Mr. Marcus Willer. Mr. Willer is the head of government and community relations, Arcelor Mittal. Gentlemen, thank you very much for coming.
Thank you so much. Sabah, it's a pleasure.